Hey guys, happy Friday. Today we've got a 30-minute live where we're going to be talking about fitness, the most common topics when it comes to fitness. So we're going to be talking around why most people quit working out. We're then going to start talking around how to actually stay consistent with the gym and working out. We're then going to move into some mindset topics. So, this is really crucial when it comes to being successful at fitness. We're then going to talk about some nutrition basics that you guys can follow and implement. And then around 6:30, we're then going to finish up with a wrap up. And then we're going to join in. If you guys have never seen me before, my name is Ross. I've been posting on TikTok now for around 6 months, mainly fitness content. And since the start of 2026, so around 6 weeks now, I've been running these 30-minute TikTok lives on the most popular fitness topics. If you guys do join this session late, then I do post all of my content and videos and topics on my YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch the lives. If you guys are interested in having a free 3-day full body split, you can download that on my main page. So all you need to do is just go to my main page, click on the link, and then you just can download a free 3-day full body split. But yeah, guys, from my side, I've got over a decade of experience with going to the gym and staying fit. So it's my pleasure to come on here and show you guys and share my knowledge in terms of health and fitness. So if you guys find the live helpful over the next 30 minutes, then please like the live, please comment. I know someone's just pulled their leg playing football, sadly. I hope you get better soon. But please make this an engaging session, guys. Really, really important for me to make sure that I can see that you guys are getting value from the session. So thank you guys for joining me, especially on a Friday. I know it's probably been a bit of a stressful week, but what I want to teach you guys over the next 30 minutes is how to stay consistent with the gym and why most people quit. From my perspective, what you can do in order to set you up for success. So look, let's just be completely honest. Most people don't quit their fitness journey because working out is hard. They quit because they get too much in their own head. So if you guys have ever restarted going to the gym or exercising multiple times, then this live is for you over the next 30 minutes. And to be honest with you, when it comes to gym or health and fitness, a lot of people talk about the practical side of things, which is doing the exercise, but no one really talks about the mental side of things. And that's what I want to highlight when it comes to this live over the next 30 minutes. I wanted to also talk about when it comes to being successful with your fitness journey, this is more psychological than physical. If you have got your mind right and you've got a strong mindset, the body will adapt. It's all about mindset when it comes to setting up for success with your fitness journey. So for anyone who's watching this, how many times have you restarted your fitness journey? Look, there's no judgment here. Put it in the comments. Look, I'm here to make sure that this time you are set up for success. And what is your current goal? Is it fat loss, muscle gain, or is it just general health and fitness? So the first topic that we're going to be moving into is why most people quit working out. So motivation when it comes to exercise and fitness is temporary. So if we're thinking about getting fit in 2026, today is the 13th, so Friday the 13th, a bit of an unlucky day. But research shows that 70 to 80% of people would have given up on their New Year's resolutions by now. And the main reason for that is because motivation is fantastic to get you going, but discipline is what keeps you going. So motivation is great to get you started. Discipline is essential to keep you going. So motivation is very emotion based. Discipline is decision based. So a lot of people would have been feeling motivated to go out, get the workouts in towards the start of the year. But then as soon as maybe that motivation has dropped, now they've got to rely on discipline. They then fall apart. And then this is where they get into this vicious cycle. So motivation is great on a Monday, but it disappears by the Thursday. And it's because everyone's thinking about their weekends. Probably even now, you guys watching this are probably thinking, why is Ross on here chatting all about health and fitness? I'm about to get a takeaway. I don't really care what Ross has got to say right now. But this is what's super, super important. So you've got to carry that motivation from Monday all the way through to the weekend. So, and my weight is stuck after losing 50 kilos. Any recommendations? So, what I'd recommend to that question or that comment is you need to be tracking how many calories that you're having each day. And I know that sounds really boring, but if you can start tracking your calories each day, you need to then confirm that you are in a calorie deficit. If you are then in a calorie deficit, then you can start tracking that day to day and seeing how your weight fluctuates. So, 1,700 calories that you're taking each day. But so you need to know for your activity level, for your height and for your weight, that's what you need to be thinking about is what do I need to have day to day in order to maintain my current weight? So you need to go online to an online calorie calculator, fill up your height, weight, your activity level, and then it will give you a baseline of your calories. You need to be in a 250 to 300 calorie deficit, and it needs to be consistent. I know it's Friday today. You can't then just have a blowout on the weekends and then ruin all of the progress throughout the week. And it's patience. When you've lost a lot of weight, you're always going to get to a sticking point where you have to be in a fat loss phase for like 12 to 16 weeks. So I hope that's helpful. Please let me know if you've got any questions. Guys, thank you very much for joining. Please let me know, guys, if you've got any questions. We're just talking about at the moment motivation versus discipline and why most people quit working out. And we're talking about motivation is great on a Monday, but then it disappears by the Thursday. And that's why, in terms of people who are successful with their fitness journey, it's because they train when they don't feel like it. Just like how I'm going to feel tomorrow morning when I have to get up early and have to go to the gym. I don't want to do it, but I'm disciplined because I know in my mind I've got to go out there and get it done. So, guys, if you are finding the live helpful, please like the live. Please comment. Please let me know if you guys have got any fitness related questions. And then, I can help them and answer them as we're running through. So the next reason why most people quit is because they have unrealistic expectations when they start exercising. So if you have started to exercise since the start of January, you are not going to get visible abs in 3 weeks. You are not going to lose weight instantly. If you think that this is a quick fix, then you are not going to see the results that you want. When it comes to getting in shape, you need to think to yourself, this is a lifestyle, not for 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. This is something that you have to implement for like 6 months to a year in order to see the results that you want. Cover the basics in terms of your habits day to day and week to week, and that is what's going to set you up for success. And I know when you look on social media, you're looking at pictures, you're looking at people, you're thinking that people are losing weight and seeing results in 1 to 2 weeks. I completely align with what you're saying, Bella. It does take time. And this is what I'm saying. A lot of people don't want to be patient. But if it was that easy to get in shape, then everyone would be in shape. They'd go to the gym or exercise for like 2 to 3 weeks, and then everyone would be in shape. But unfortunately, it's boring. And there is periods like you are now when the motivation drops and you just have to be disciplined and consistent. So unrealistic expectations. is another main reason of why people stop. You're not going to have visible abs in 3 weeks. You're not going to lose weight instantly. And you need to stop comparing yourself to everything that you see on social media, where people are saying you can lose weight and look at this body within the next 1 to 2 weeks. It's impossible. You need to think about your fitness goal as chapters, and you are starting at chapter 1. And you are getting to chapter 2 when you're, 4 to 6 weeks in, and then you're dropping straight out. You need to be in there long enough before, all of that hard work that you're putting in can pay off. And it's very easy to look at someone, who's at chapter 20 and you're at the starting point, but you just need to be patient. So, guys, any questions, please let me know. Put them in the comments. Please like the live, guys, if you're finding it helpful. The next reason why most people quit is because they have an all or nothing mindset. So this is an absolutely huge reason of why most people quit. They miss one workout and then they think that they failed. Now, do you know what? I should have went to the gym 3 days this week. I only went once. That's it. I'm done. Life happens. We are not robots. At the end of the day, you can't feel guilty. The only thing that you can do is just be better next day. I've missed a few workouts over the last few weeks. I've had a few things that's been going on, but I don't feel guilty about it. I just go back at the earliest point that I can and get a workout in. This is going to really relate to people on a Friday night like tonight. You eat a takeaway and then you think to yourself, I've ruined everything. It doesn't work like that. One meal is not going to make you fat. And you know what I mean? One meal is not going to make you fat. One healthy meal is not going to put you in shape. So you need to think to yourself that you need to have an element of balance. I'm not saying you go out, you get hammered drunk, you're eating KFC, Burger King and McDonald's all over the weekend. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is you just having something a little bit naughty, having maybe like a treat. That's good because it enables you then to stay consistent in the week, right? And for me, 80% of the week I eat well. On the weekends, I keep it real. I eat a little Turkish here and there. I'll have a little Kinder Bueno milkshake, but it's because I've been consistent throughout the week. So that's what enables me to, have a bit of balance because I'm not going to be eating strict 24/7. And that's what I'm preaching to you guys watching this. You don't need to be perfect in order to stay in shape. I promise you that. If you are 80% consistent for a year, trust me, your body will change. I'm from Essex. I'm from London. So guys, watching this, would you say you struggle more with motivation or do you struggle with consistency? Put it in the comments. Let me know if you guys have got any other questions. Like the live if you guys are finding it helpful. Next, we're going to be talking about how to actually stay consistent. And this is going to be a detailed strategy. So this is going to be my blueprint from my experience on how you're going to set yourself up for success. So what I'm going to now shift to is solutions. So for you guys watching this, get a pen and paper because I'm only going to say this once. If you miss it this once, then I will post it on my YouTube so you guys can watch this back. So in order to set yourself up for success in terms of consistency, make your workout smaller. So a lot of people, when they get into their fitness journey or start going to the gym, they massively overcommit. I've got to go to the gym 5 days a week for 2 hours a time. That's not sustainable. Think about it. What you need to start with is 2 to 3 days. Start with a 20 to 30 minute workout. A lot of people are going to be on here saying, Ross, I can't do 20 to 30 minutes. 20 to 30 minutes, what can you do in that? Well, 20 to 30 minutes is better than nothing, right? Start with 3 days. Start with 20 to 30 minute workouts. Be consistent. Once you've got that consistency, you can then start mixing around with adding more days or adding to the time of your workouts. So remember, you're not building a summer body, you are building a lifestyle. Remember, if you are 80% consistent for a whole year, you win. You win. And 20% across the week and across a year is a lot of time to have the foods that you want and to go out and have a bit of a blowout sometimes. Not too much though, because you don't want to be ruining your progress throughout the week. The next way that you're going to set yourself up for success in terms of being consistent, you're going to make it non negotiable. So you make it non negotiable when you go out with your mates, you make it non negotiable when you go out and have a drink after work. You brush your teeth every day because it's a non negotiable. You need to treat your workouts like brushing your teeth. So it needs to be essential, not optional. And don't ever ask yourself if you're working out, ask what you're training. Like tomorrow, I don't want to go to the gym. I'm not saying if I get up and go, I'm saying to myself, tomorrow I'm going to be training X and Y. I've already made a decision in my mind that I'm going. So no one can tell me no different. And what you need to start doing here is, I know it's Friday, and I know a lot of people are watching me right now, and they're probably ordering their takeaways on Uber Eats and Just Eat, and do you know what I mean? And they're thinking, I'm going to get that bargain bucket Ross. But you need to stop restarting every Monday, because this just turns into a vicious cycle. When we're talking about the Monday reset trap, you have all that motivation on Monday. By Thursday, it's gone. It's 40 kilos. It's a 40 kilo bench good for a girl. Yeah, 40 kilos is decent. 40 kilos is good. All about the form, though. You got to think about the form. If the form is good, then that's what matters. Even for me now, I don't care about how much I bench or how much I lift. It's all about the range of motion. No one, when you go out, no one says to you, well, how much do you bench or how much do you squat or whatever it is. It's all about how you look. So, 40 kilos is good, but I wouldn't get too tied into the weight. I don't really care about how much I bench as long as I'm getting a good contraction throughout whatever movement that I'm doing. So, guys, any questions? Well, a Chinese ruin my abs. Well, it depends on how often you're going to have that Chinese. If you're going to have that Chinese 3 to 4 days a week, then yeah, it's not going to be good for you. But if you are going to have it as a treat, 80% of the week you're going to eat, once a month's absolutely fine. I have a takeaway at least once a week, but I usually have a Turkish. And throughout the week, I'm fairly strict. So not strict. That's probably like quite a boring way to put it. But I will generally meal prep on a Sunday. I'll have the same breakfast and lunch. I'll eat healthy dinners. So I'll cook healthy dinners in the evening. And then generally on a Friday or a Saturday, I'll eat something like a takeaway. But yeah, once a month is absolutely fine for a Chinese. And you know what I mean? As long as, once a month. If you think about, the way I always like to think about this is, if you have 3 meals a day, it's 3 times 7 is 21 meals a week. If for 80% of those meals you are eating healthy, then the other 20%, do you know what I mean? You can eat something a little bit bad. You can have a little bit of a treat. Because if you're looking at how you're spacing it out, 80% of the week you're eating well, 20% of the week you can have a bit of a treat. And because you're having that treat week to week, you are more inclined then when it comes around to a Monday, you are more inclined then to say, do you know what? I'm going to be nice and strict this week, because on a Friday, I can have a bit of a treat. I can have a bit of chocolate. I can have a milkshake. Do you know what I mean? It's all about balance. You don't need to be giving up everything. But that's what I preach. I'm like a healthy, lazy person. I never, ever want to be without, you know what I mean? I love chocolate. I love chocolate biscuits. I ain't giving that up. But in the week, I have an element of control. And my control is I need to eat well in order for me to then have that treat on Fridays. So guys, any questions, keep feeding them through. Please like the live. Thank you very much for liking the live. Guys, let me know if you've got any other questions whilst we're running through. What we're going to be talking about next is the mindset talk. So this is going to be start to talk about not only the practical side of things, but the psychological and the emotional side of things. So is minced beef a better protein than chicken? To be honest with you, it depends on the fat content. For me personally, I always prefer chicken. But if I'm honest with you, it's all about getting different good sources of protein. So realistically, it doesn't matter the source of protein as long as you're mixing it up and as long as you're hitting your protein goal every day. So, there's not in a way a better protein. It's just whatever your preference is. So, yeah, guys, any other questions, please feed them through. Thank you very much for engaging and asking me questions. So, just talking about mindset, when we're moving into the emotional and the psychological side of things, look, I know when we first start exercising or when we start going back after, after a period of time off, I know there is an element of gym anxiety, and that is completely normal. And the only way that you can get better at gym anxiety is by going, is by exposing yourself to it and going there a little bit more frequently. And look, everyone feels awkward at first. And if you are completely new to the gym and you're watching this, look, no one knows really what they're doing in the beginning. You sort of got to like blag it. It's when you go to your first job, like when you first turn up there, you're all anxious and you're nervous. And then the more you go to the job and the more you turn up, the better it gets because you build confidence. And it's exactly the same way with the gym. And the only difference between you and the fit person that ends up making it in the end is they just keep showing up. And it's like anything in life. You've got to be consistent in order to get to the results of where you want to get to. When I first started going to the gym, I was like proper small. I was proper skinny. I was struggling with the bar with no weights on it. I know someone asked me earlier on, is a 40 kilo bench press good? I couldn't even lift the bar when I first started going to the gym. And that was embarrassing. But I kept going and then I moved past it, which is absolutely fine. So, also, as well, you need to stop comparing yourself. Comparison kills momentum. And you've got to remember when it comes to social media, when you're looking at pictures, people have got like certain pumps, they've got lighting, they've got angles, they've got filters. So don't ever take social media as gospel. Because if I could paint you a picture, a perfect picture, and post it up whatever way I want you guys to view it, that's what social media is. So you just need to have a bit of a reality check and not compare yourself, because comparing yourself to other people is a distraction. And if you're starting over again, if you've started your fitness journey and then now you're restarting it and it's only 6 weeks into the year, trust me, life happens, breaks happen, stress happens. But restarting things doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that you're trying again. And you only fail when you stop trying. And it's like anything in life. So we've got just over 5 minutes left of this live. What I'm going to talk about next is nutrition tips. So these are going to be simple and realistic. So I'm going to keep it super digestible for you. So you don't need to follow a crazy diet when it comes to getting into a lifestyle or a diet that is going to suit your lifestyle for the long term. So fat loss isn't about cutting carbs completely out. It's about being in consistent calories. And this is where it goes back to knowing the calories that you need to have each day, using the TDE calculator. You know what I mean? Do you remember what I said? You don't need to eat perfectly. You just need to be consistent. 80-20 rule. Remember, protein is your friend. So protein helps muscle retention. It helps you feeling full so you don't overeat. And it helps with recovery. Aim to have a good source of protein with each meal. And remember, you can still live your best life. It's all about balance. Birthdays, it's Valentine's Day tomorrow, holidays. Your plan only works when you have an element of balance in it. Remember, your life isn't perfect. So if you try and think that your fitness journey is perfect, then you won't succeed. It's all about balance. So, just as a wrap up in terms of what we've run through today. So, I want you to think to yourself, no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save your goals. Your future body is built on today's habits, and you don't need motivation. You need a decision. So, guys, if this live has helped you over the last 30 minutes, then please consider following me. If you guys want a free 3 day full body split, then I have got a link to that on my profile. You can download that right now for free. If you've just joined and you've missed the start of this live, you can go onto my YouTube channel where I'm going to be posting up not just this live, but I post all of my lives in terms of the most common fitness topics that I've been talking about over the last few weeks. I do post up daily, so feel free to engage with my post. Feel free to ask me questions. My next live is going to be on Sunday, and this is where we're going to be talking about fat loss mistakes that people don't realize that they're making. So if you guys want to join me on Sunday, I'm going to be putting up an event soon. You guys can register for that event. But I want to thank you guys again. Have a lovely rest of the evening. Enjoy your Friday, Friday the 13th, and I shall see you guys on Sunday.